26-year-old Toller Cranston from Canada, 7th after the compulsories.
And the most exotic skater I think that I've ever seen is John Curry is the most elegant. This is the most exotic, the most bizarre, the most unusual and extraordinary stylist I think I've ever seen. First move.
Let's bring the filmmaker up for the last film, TOLLERMANIA, right now, Karen. And I think the subject is with us as well. I'm just curious how you guys met and how you decided to make a film about this.
Sorry, no.
This is Karen.
This is on. Okay, then I'll hear me. I'm an aspiring artist, and Natalia is the real deal. And I'm with a group called Studio 5. We're 5 artists that have shared studio space for many years. Natasha being an incredible instructor for all of us in the studio. So she comes to San Miguel, the 5 of us, we go typically yearly, and that's how Toller, who I knew quite well, sadly passed away almost 10 years ago. He had offered to do a show for Natalia. He'd seen her work and was quite impressed, but had no idea what she would create. It was, so that's how it started.
So does anybody have any questions for either of, yes, go back there. You can just yell, yeah.
How many plates?
Altogether I made 700 plates, but in film, for actual frame, I think it's around 500. Because some of them would just break or not fired well, or I will not use them. Yeah, but that's, you know, that's if you decide to do something, you do it. That's it.
What?
There's 24 frames per second in regular film.
Yes.
Film, old school film, what we're watching, right? So did you break it down that way, like 24
yeah, I broke,
pictures and then draw them all out?
I don't remember how many frames per second, maybe 12. What is the minimal, which you still see, which you would see the movement?
Yes.
So I had a count, then I had all the frames, which I extracted, like 24 per second or what. And I would choose the ones which I could use many times. Right? Like, because it's typical move, you know, you spend like four months I would spend in just design.
So you don't use every single, you just go here, like in animation, you go here, here,
right,
here,
and then, for example, he
spins,
spins, which means you choose 4 or 6, and then it goes over and over, and then maybe in some seconds you can use such a movement again, you know? Or, because I use photographs there, so it's like still animation, I think it named. So I would photograph the plates.
Stop motion.
Stop motion, yeah. I would photograph the plates, so sometimes I could negative it, you know, mirror it, yeah, but that's maybe 2 or 3. But because I was designing in computer with these drawings, so all design first was in drawings on computer, right? So I could change them, put different places. Flash Animation 5, the primitive first ever made, like very simple.
Remember, this was done in 2014. The show was in 2014, so Natasha was working on this for the 2 years prior to it.
Yeah.
Good.
What was your learning curve in Flash?
Was my first project.
Yes.
And
how long did
one.
it take you to learn the program to get into it? I know it's a difficult program.
Okay,
I used to run it, so.
Other than the ceramic artist, I have 6 years education in graphic and illustration in Kiev. So
yeah.
We were using CorelDRAW, Photoshop. So I mean, I use in programs. So it's probably took me while I've been just working on the project. Read some instructions.
Flash is a very difficult program to learn. It was a very.
She's really smart.
No, it was really, it is. I used to work it, and it was like a real learning
well,
curve.
I didn't go deep there. Just what I needed. I learned how to put music.
Okay.
I had a line with actual movie, so I could put my frames in rhythm, right?
Okay.
And other than that,
Were they separate movies for each frame, or did you do?
No. I mean, the actual movie, like the actual
Yes.
original, was one line,
Okay.
so I could see it. Music was second line, and I was putting frames frame by frame,
Okay.
by hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I could run it,
Mm-hmm.
let's say that second, and see is it working.
Sure.
If not, I would move it, or that's what I remember of it, because I used it.
Sorry, I don't mean to be technical.
Sorry, you got a question? Yeah.
Natasha, did you do? It's really impressive. I wanted to ask you at the beginning why it happened and what this idea came up for you in the beginning. It's really, if it's personal, you
Just
can.
that the best explained in movie, so
Yeah.
I didn't know that I would do it, but when the idea came, how it could be done,
Yeah.
I just couldn't resist it. That was it. So I planned the show with Toller, which we get along very well, and he offered me a show, which was for me an opportunity to show in Canadian more high rank recognition circle, I think, or something like that. But when I started to think what I could do, that's how it happened. I just thought, okay, if I'm making plays, and then it would be good to make a movie out of it.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
you back there?
Yeah, just
Just
a
want to
little,
add,
yeah.
when the show was at Toller Studio in San Miguel, he had no idea. He had set out to do a show 2 years later. We were just telling him, okay, we need a blue wall, there's plates. He had honestly not seen any idea. He had no clue what she was going to do. He didn't know what he was going to be painting. He had no clue. So that was the shock of it all for him and everyone that came. So it was pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Go ahead, back there.
How many years did it take you to finish the project from the idea to the actual?
Material, year and a half. Material part, but then we had the production. We had to prepare the show, to bring it, to organize it. So 2 years, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Where is the collection now? Because all this, I mean, I'm amazed at your patience and labor.
She's holding out on us all.
What happened? We showed it in San Miguel. Immediately, the same days, the war in Ukraine started. So it was 2013 when we were showing.
14 was
14,
the show. So.
yeah. So in 13, the war started, so we were going to actually to make a show, but my mind was already out of there. And then, very quickly, Toller died. And we were planning to make a show in Canada, which will bring that myself into higher circle of art. And that's it. Then the life just went on. So we never showed it in Canada yet. Some plates were sold on that show in San Miguel, and the rest I have with me. Then we had to close the studio. I started to go too often to Ukraine to help older members of family, and we are kind of coming back with this festival.
Natasha had all the footage from all the production of it, which I couldn't get my hands on. And so finally, when kind of things, she came back from Ukraine, she said, okay, here's all the footage, here's what we've got, and then I slowly started working on the film, because it really was something that had to be shown. I mean, it's remarkable, as you can see.
Any other questions? Cool, yeah.
Is porcelain your favorite medium, and why?
No, well, I work in different ceramic mediums. I personally work in clay, not even glazed. I mean, that's my preference after years and years of doing everything. But for this particular one, I choose porcelain because Toller was fond and all this Mexican blue and white. That's Majolica, but it traditionally as a copy of high-end porcelain from Spain, historically. And also the oval was representing the skating rink, cold, porcelain, cold, glossy. So it kind of was conceptual. Also English tradition of recognition of ceramic is only blue and white. You can show to North American, English descent, European descent people color, full ceramic, they will appreciate it, but they won't feel it because it's not in their cultural history. You show blue and white because that's what grandmothers and grandmothers had in their counters. That like you have to have connection.
Sorry, go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
I want to learn a little bit more about the post-labor,
Post-industrial hand labor.
Industrial hand labor. Why do you think it's so important to connect with our sense of touch?
The good things, if you store them old, like old cheese, it just show up well. So 10 years ago it was kind of joke. Now everybody understands it, right? What too much industrialization and production brought us to. So let's say it's political statement.
Did you see the gold medal performance of Canada's breakdancing champion? And could you do another project with it?
It's a good idea.
If you go to my website, you'll find out I do different things.
Sorry, go ahead. You have couple more questions.
So just one other comment too. I mean, the amount of work you saw that Natasha did for this project, I think what was remarkable is it often mimics the amount of work that any artist or athlete puts into any kind of performance, any kind of work, and you know, we have to appreciate it all, whether it's athletic performance, you know, and any artistic talent requires an enormous amount of work, and you see it so poignantly in Natasha's work.
So a couple more questions, go ahead.
Okay, so I just that scene with you holding that Samsung that's like looks like from 2007, like that was crazy. That's like how you worked that program and you were just filming picture to picture. Was that like that throughout the whole process?
Was it like what? Sorry.
Was it like were you doing that throughout the whole process of this whole
using just the phone?
Using that phone as well?
Because that phone's so like it's crazy.
Yeah, that's Samsung 2 or 1. I don't know. What? That's just your pen. The pen has a thin peak, right? Which is important when you No, see, I choose the original frames, so I was not outlining all 5,000 or whatever. You understand? I was outlining maybe 800.
So one more question, then we got the.
I think it's sort of a quick question. I really was impressed when Toller jumps from plate to plate, and it made me think with the materials you're working with. Was it restrictive, or were you able to, if you had a fresh idea, to then translate it, or did you have to make more plates, or what happens if you had an inspiration?
No, that's all was done in drawing on computer.
So
the design was done because if you ceramic artist, you don't do that. You don't change your mind during the material. Yeah. Otherwise, I will still do it. Maybe it will be more questions, but what I want to say, no matter how big my work was, and I'm very thrilled to answer the question and being exposed, if Karen will not do this documentary, we won't be seeing even this.